Welcome back to Chow Time Pods. Your host Red. I got a video today from Sigma Traits.
Men and women both are victims, but I feel like when men are victims, nobody gives a fuck.
Yeah.
And I seen a video of a woman saying that, name one allegation that ruined a man's life. Let me show you this video, you guys, because I'm not gonna lie, you guys already know this. I'm so emotional right now and I'm watching it and it made me cry. I hate seeing people's whole life ruined over somebody lying, bro. Like, one thing I cannot stand is a woman who makes shit up, and then the fact that people believe it with no proof. Oh my god, bro. Watch.
Sexual assault allegations ruin a man's life. Name one. Name one man whose life has been ruined by sexual assault allegation.
Suddenly I was guilty until proven innocent.
They slander my name. They fire my coach. And I felt like all that was on me.
I ask all of you to wait and hear the truth before you label or condemn me. Don't treat me like a criminal, because I am innocent.
This morning, a rising Hollywood star facing allegations of domestic violence.
Next victim, star pitcher.
These are just the big stars. The big stars that have coverage that everybody knows. There's so many regular men that are getting destroyed.
For the Dodgers. A text Lindsay Hill sent to a friend before she ever even met me. What should I steal? She asked another in reference to visiting my house for the first time. The answer? Take his money.
Sean Oakman was never drafted, and he never played in the NFL because of the false allegations against him. He now plays in the CFL for Montreal. And these are celebrities. Now think about what could happen to a regular guy. Look at what Mike has to say. The worst part is, even if you're exonerated, you still face public shame and guilt through public eyes. Especially if it's a small town, everyone knows. No one wants to associate with you, and good luck getting a career. Might as well pack up and leave the state. Perfectly said. We all know once a cheater, always a cheater.
Yep.
Once an asshole, always an asshole. So obviously one allegation and you're forever ruined. Another guy comments, "Thank you, young lady, because it happens too much in United States. And the courts always agree with no proof, but just direct evidence. In other words, just pointing the finger, and that's all they need." How and why is this becoming such a common story?
Because of Me Too. Because women are evil. They rather lie and destroy a man's life than take any accountability or admit any fault or mistake. That's the dangerousness of Me Too and all of this. That women are so high on that scale of willing to lie, they're almost 90% of them are willing to lie just to get away with whatever little stupid thing it is that they're trying to get away from. It could be even just, oh, I accidentally stole something.
Seen in almost every neighborhood now. Somebody really needs to put these women in check. Another devastating comment. As soon as a man is accused of something, no one believes him. And if he's cleared, those same people will either backtrack or still treat him like he's done something wrong. Do get that treatment. There has to be justice done to those that falsely accuse people. Like I said, the story of every other household.
Sad. The fact that somebody could defame you, make up stuff, and they don't even research this shit enough. That's somebody's life. Could you imagine a man, playing football his whole life, becoming who he is, becoming a star, going through college, getting drafted, and then having one person say something about them and it's all tarnished and everybody believe her and believe all women. I'm sorry, y'all, but they need to work on literally working through evidence, taking their time with stuff like that, and not just jumping the gun. I understand when they're athletes, they need to take that stuff serious, because there are times where there are athletes who do that stuff. But again, you know what sucks? They're loud about everything when it comes to this stuff. But why aren't they loud when they have to apologize? Why aren't these women locked the fuck up? Do you know how bad that is to say that somebody raped you and then have a whole sob story and then cry? Amber Heard said Johnny Depp stuck a fucking bottle in her private parts with no evidence. A bottle of... Do you understand how absurd that sounds? And they believed her. She also said that, oh my God, the dog pooped on the bed and then it's her poop. And everybody believed her because she shed tears and cried.
Yep.
And like I said, people will believe everything that a woman says, but when a man's crying, when a man's on his own, nobody believes him. And like I said, I wish the same way they make it so big, they're in the tabloids, TMZ, they're on all these type of things. Why, when a man is innocent, they don't do the same thing? You guys will fucking parade when it's a man's downfall, but you won't parade and praise him for actually being a good person. Could you imagine what it feels like for the whole world to turn against you, Jonathan Majors? You know,
False allegations are a lot more widespread than you think. Family court is full of it. As soon as a woman is about to lose in a custody battle, then false allegations gets thrown around.
it was so sad, y'all. I recently watched Magazine Dreams, and you guys probably watching me on live. My ass was crying, bro, the whole time. That movie bothered me. It was so good. It was phenomenal, and I really like him as an actor. Please, you guys, do your research before you listen to dumbass people when it comes to somebody else's life, because we all are humans at the end of the day.
True.
Nobody's perfect, but again,
I make mistakes.
I don't support people who abuse women, abuse men, rapists, and all that. You guys already know this. I don't support that from any gender. It's absolutely disgusting. But man, to get your whole livelihood taken away. Yeah, Katie, she's sad too. To get your whole livelihood taken away from you, and then nobody comes back and makes a big thing about it or a big rally about it to praise you for not doing that stuff and for being a good person, that's sad. I don't think anybody will ever know what that feels like to have the whole world turned against you. But I just want you to know, men, I stand with you. White men, black men, Hispanic men, Polynesian men, Filipino men, Habibis, whatever you are, native, all that stuff, I stand with you. I really feel like...
We appreciate you. We really do. Women like you that come on and help defend men and help push the agenda that men are humans too. That's all we really want. We're humans too. We got emotions.
There's a lot of good men in this world, and it's getting tarnished by all the crappy ones. But stuff like this really, really bothers me, because like I said, if you watch Johnny Depp's trial, that made me real sad. He didn't even look at her the entire time. And I think a lot of people will see it like, oh, he's a strong guy, this and that. But you don't think deep down inside that shit hurts to see somebody you actually loved and fell in love with?
I mean, just think about what Johnny had to parade his abuse to the whole world for the world to finally say, oh, yeah, that's pretty humiliating also. To have to do all that, have to spend all that money to put all your business out there just to defend yourself.
He was doing blow. He went back and forth with her and stuff like that. I'm not saying he's fully innocent, but again, reactive abuse. You're with somebody like that long enough that makes you look and feel crazy. I feel like eventually you're going to mimic certain behaviors. But there was all this proof shown. And again, you don't see people praising that. But again, this is my opinion. If you don't stand with this, by all means. But I think this stuff is sad. And I wish that a lot of these men would get a second chance, because once they get kicked off the team, just like he said, they fired my coach. A lot of these people don't get their what do you call it, back. They don't get to be football players again. They don't get to be put on things again. That's the sad part. You tarnish somebody's name and defame them, and it's done for them. That's sad. Working hard for that, just for a woman to tarnish your name.
Yeah, think about it. 30 years, 40 years, 50 years of building up your career to be the top echelon of what you do. And then, boom.
And then that woman doesn't get any punishment. And then we wonder why women keep falsely accusing men. We wonder why Shannon Sharp situations keep happening. I'm not defending Shannon Sharp because he's a weirdo for talking to little ass kids. But again, there are women who go out of their way to bait you. That shit was so staged, and he should have known that girl was a money grubber from the jump.
Thanks for standing up for men.
We appreciate
This
you.
list goes on and on through way more stories. The system in America is literally designed to demasculate and destroy man through women. Look at this guy's comment. There was one where a young man lost his college scholarship and university acceptance because a girl falsely accused him of SA. He lost his dream.
Yep.
This is as sad as it gets.
But hey, please men, be careful with the women you deal with, because toxic women can be vile, manipulative, and play that card. And especially if you're a man in the limelight, I don't understand why y'all don't get this sometimes. Be careful with who you talk to, who you give your time to. These women sometimes, man, they'll see dollar signs and go, yep, let me try to get an allegation out of him. Let me try to go and do this, because they know they're going to win. And that's the sad part too. I highly suggest every man, when you become famous, or even in general, do what I do, y'all. I have cameras and surveillance all in my house, and then I have cameras hidden. So if anybody wanted to be like, oh, this and this happened, I'll always have proof. If I have to use my firearm and somebody comes in here, I'll always have proof. Please, I would recommend you do that. And you can also get a whole camera security system on Amazon for less than $200. So please, I would highly suggest investing in that and investing your time into a better woman. Especially...
Damn. She gave us the game, guys. Invest into a better woman.
Women who are going to put you down and belittle you and make you what? Be the bad guy, and look at your whole life is ruined off of one thing a woman says. This is the reason why, for me, I don't care if people don't like me. I don't care if I'm evil, masculine, whatever. I'm not going to support and ride for all women when I know how some women are. I know that women lie. I've seen women cry and pretend. I've seen women go, oh my gosh, yes, babe, this and that. And then they get off the phone and they're fine. I've seen the worst from women. Men are also...
We've seen that. They made videos of this. They tell on themselves, making videos of crying out to a guy, and then literally as soon as she hangs up, she is this maniacal face.
So bad, some men too, but we're talking about women. I've seen the most vilest things from women. That's why I always have to go, I don't believe it, let me do my research. And I don't give a fuck if that sounds wrong, because I would want somebody to do the same thing to me. Anybody. You can't just go believing people no more, because all people do now is make up shit. So guys, believe what you want, but I would suggest you do your research, especially when it comes to men, especially when it comes to women as well too. People lie on people, and it's sad. If you had something happen to you, where's the proof? And yes, I have to see it. The brick lady situation, she ended up lying. There's a lot of women who do that, and look at all these guys right here. So
look at the freaking what you call it, TikTok Uber Eats driver or whatever.
don't sit here and say that there's not women who falsely accuse men, because here's proof.
Look at how accurate this guy's comment is. I've been the monster in a few of my ex's stories. In their world, I was abusive, controlling, manipulative, cheating, and, of course, lying. I'm over it. Not all my exes, just a few, and this was a total list, not individual. Whoa, this next story is a whole new level of low. I have an ex who for the longest time kept trying to circle back, and I kept turning her down because now she was in these streets with people I'm familiar with too. She then resorted to saying, if I refuse, she'll say I graped her. To this day, I can't describe the feeling that comes with that threat. To this, I still feel that fear still sits with me. Luckily, she said it via DM, so I told her I have evidence of her lie. And what's also scary is that you could beat these false allegations with proof, but there'll still be people who continue to believe it, convince themselves, and identify you as that, like how Jonathan's image continues to be tainted by women who may be chaotic, some projecting their traumas, unfortunately, and being blackballed. Well, we all know the Justin Baldoni situation, where Blake Lively exactly this to get what she wanted. If you don't know the Justin versus Blake story, let us give you a summary.
Okay, so if you're new to the Blake Lively, Justin Baldoni legal saga, I'm going to break it down for you and catch you up to speed. So Gossip Girl agreed to do this movie that was based on a book by Colleen Hoover. And also in the movie was this dude from Jane the Virgin. And he also happened to be the director. And nobody really knew who he was, but they knew that he was all about dismantling toxic masculinity. And the movie happens to be about domestic violence. But you probably wouldn't have known that based off of how Blake Lively decided to market the film. which many fans took issue with. And this isn't the age of Adeline, it's the age of social media. So some of her old interviews resurfaced and she was called out as a tone-deaf diva. And then months later, after everybody forgot, she decided to take legal action against Justin Baldoni. And she claims that all of these mean things that people were saying about her were an alleged smear campaign that he spearheaded against her. And it was all because he harassed her on the set and it wasn't very yummy. And then he said, no way, Jose, that's not what happened. She was a nightmare to work with, and her husband, Deadpool, tried to hijack my movie.
Yep.
And he basically said, nobody puts Baldoni in a basement. And now it's basically all-out war. And she thought she pulled a gotcha by releasing text messages from his team. And then he released the full thread and showed that there was manipulation of the text messages and the context. And then he released her text messages, which is where we learned that she's a ball buster, but never with teeth. And I guess the teeth come from Taylor Swift and Ryan Reynolds, who Blake Lively, the self-proclaimed Khaleesi, says are her dragons. And then Baldoni said, guess what? Winter is coming. And she said, but wait, there are other women. But the Sisterhood of the Traveling HR complaints want nothing to do with this, and none of them are speaking out. And so far, everybody seems to be distancing themselves from Blake. But at least Amber Heard spoke out in her defense. And then Mr. Lively said, LOL, this is so funny on SNL. And now to prove her case, she wants Justin Baldoni's phone records. But unfortunately, the judge did not grant her a simple favor and sent her back to the drawing board. So then she decided this was the case for the CIA. And at this point, it's just one big game of cheap shots, 5 mistresses, 5 psychiatrists, and a partridge in a pear tree. And now we've got about a year until we go to trial. So until then, we just have to sit back and sip on some aviation gin as it all unfolds.
I fear Amber Heard coming to her defense was the only way to bring Blake's case even lower.
Right. So I was like, wait, who defended you? Who?
Their ego made everything worse for them. If they accepted the backlash instead of crying, smear, all this negative attention wouldn't have occurred. They smeared themselves. She thinks she's untouchable, so highly of herself. So even this tale is as old as time. Men need to be careful no matter how wealthy, how popular.
So let's talk about the men who are falsely accused by toxic women of DV, rape, all sorts of horrific things that unfortunately the system is designed to automatically believe the female and, not believe the male. Now, this is just happening so often. I've had so many men reach out to me and tell me their stories. I was talking to a man the other day. He's had to spend over $200,000 to clear his name of false accusations of DV.
I can't imagine having to spend $200K just to defend myself. I would be enraged.
Other guy has spent over $100,000. In fact, there's just so many, and they've all had to spend a minimum $100K to clear their name of these false accusations. Now, of course, it's huge financial stress, but let's have a look at the mental and emotional distress as well. Often these women are also using the children as pawns, and that's why they falsely accuse the men. It's to help them in a custody battle. And it's not because, the men are terrible fathers, although there are some terrible fathers out there. It's because, they are spiteful, they are scorned women, and they are using the children, they are using these false accusations to hurt the man for leaving them. Often it's the men that are actually in DV relationships with these toxic women. And these toxic women will tell them if they try and leave, I will go and falsely accuse you of DV. I will go and falsely accuse you of rape and all those sorts of things. They use it as coercive control to try and keep the man to stay. And when the man finally gets the courage to get up and walk away, unfortunately, they make the man pay, and they make them pay real good and proper. And where this really annoys me, well, actually, there's a couple of things that really annoy me about this. Number one, we have an absolute epidemic of men who go and unalive themselves, right? Because the emotional stress and trauma is just too much to bear, and society is not geared to support them, is not geared to believe them, even if they're in DV relationships. And number two,
society actually even shames them a little bit.
what really peeves me off is there's a lot of women out there who are genuine victims of DV, rape, all those sorts of horrendous things. And you toxic women lying and making up false accusations make things really, really hard for the real victims. And that is absolutely disgusting to me. Like, I had a female client recently who is in a very serious DV relationship. Twice she went to the police to get an IVO and twice she was turned away. Why? Because you women who lie and make false accusations make it really, really hard for the real victims. It took her 3 attempts. She had to actually go to the Family V liaisons officer to finally be taken seriously and get a much needed IVO out on her partner. Okay, so if you are one of these toxic women, please stop and think about what you're doing, because you're actually sending men to the grave and you're making things really hard for real, genuine female victims. I don't care if you feel scorned. I don't care if your little ego has been bruised. Go and get some help, okay? Right. If you are that scorned that you feel the need to have to make up false accusations against these men, go and get some help. You're in a very, very bad way mentally if that's what you are doing. And these poor men, you know, especially when they're falsely accused of rape, that follows them for the rest of their lives. Even when they're proven innocent, that mud sticks. And I've had so many male clients that I've had to look after that have been traumatized and mentally scarred for life because of these false accusations. It's not fair. It's not right. And those of us who are healthy women, we need to call this out. We need to stand by these men.
Yes, this is probably the biggest thing that women can do for men right here. The good ones, please speak up. Don't let these horrible women destroy all the good men.
Because the system is not there for them. The system is not believing them. So it takes a village, right, as they say. We must support these men. I'm calling on all healthy women to stand up and start supporting men in this way. If you know a toxic woman who is falsely accusing a man of these things, go and be a witness for them. Go and write an affidavit for them in their court case to help free their name. Because the courts do listen to when another female stands up. That is the power that we have as females, but we have to use that power for good, not evil.
There should be consequences for those who do this. The amounts spent just clear oneself could easily be used for things far better.
And this is why I genuinely cannot promote families 100% of the time. I can only promote because I have a great family. I have great experience from my family. I know some of you guys had horrible families. I don't know if you guys want to create your own families, but this makes me hard. These videos and these things makes it hard to advocate for that. It makes it hard to advocate for the average man to go and find a wife, because he can get screwed in so many ways. Please like, subscribe, comment down below. I really appreciate that, and catch you guys next time. Ciao.